We hear a lot about awareness and consciousness these days, but what's the difference? If your awareness is your ability to sense what's going on inside and outside of you, then what's doing the sensing? What's directing your attention? That's consciousness. And today we're going to explore how it works, where it might live, and how understanding it might open up real transformation in your life. Hi, I'm Anne Hintz. I've developed a deep level of inner awareness to the point of being able to sense inside my tissues and bones. That kind of sensitivity allowed me to shift the structure of my skull and even grow taller in my 50s. Not because I set out to, but because the burden I was carrying started to release. And what guided that process? It wasn't just mindset. It was consciousness, the part of me that could sense, direct, and integrate what was happening. Let's unpack that. You might think of consciousness as what makes us human, but really, it's what makes us alive. Every creature that can sense, a dog, a deer, even a lizard, has consciousness, because consciousness is what interprets sensation. It works with the body and the brain to make sense of the world. Now, I don't pretend to have all the answers. This is something philosophers and scientists have debated for centuries. But I can tell you what I've discovered through direct experience, not beliefs, felt truth. I believe that consciousness lives in the body of the sphenoid bone, deep in the center of the skull. That's the base, the faucet, where awareness begins. It doesn't speak in words. It doesn't analyze. It senses. Let's bring back a metaphor in an earlier video about awareness and self-awareness. And if you're new, don't worry, I'll explain now. Imagine a garden hose. Awareness is like the water that flows through it. It can be a focused jet or a diffuse spray. That hose moves based on where your attention goes, out through your senses or in towards your internal world. But what chooses where that hose points? Consciousness. You can choose to move your awareness, to focus on a sound, to zoom in on an itch, to track a rising emotion. Or it can move automatically, like when something startles you or your stomach clenches. That's your consciousness sensing something before your mind even catches up. And here's something most people don't realize. Consciousness can also detach from sensation and shift into thought, but it doesn't do both well at the same time. You can't deeply feel a physical sensation and describe it at the same time. Not fully. You may switch between them quickly, but you're still switching. That's why meditation or emotional healing practices can be so powerful. They teach you to stay with sensation longer before jumping back into thought. They build your ability to sense consciously, and that changes everything. This is what people often talk about when they say expanding consciousness. It's not something abstract or out of reach. It's the very real practical ability to notice more, feel more, and respond more wisely to the moment. Here's another question worth asking. What happens when the brain can no longer interpret sensations? When the body dies, is consciousness still there? If it truly resides in the body of the sphenoid bone, as I believe, what happens when the rest of the brain goes quiet? Does diffuse awareness remain, just without interpretation? We don't know for sure. But if you've ever felt something that you couldn't explain with your mind, a sense of presence, or a deep peace that didn't come from thought, you've already brushed up against this mystery. Now, why does any of this matter? Because once you begin to understand what consciousness is, you can start working with it, not against it. You can start noticing where your awareness is going and bring it back to where it's needed. As you develop your awareness, you gain awareness over your thoughts and your feelings, and your responses shift. That's where real change begins. Not all at once, but in meaningful, steady steps. And that's what Bob Proctor meant when he said, your results are an expression of your level of awareness. When you know how to move your awareness and direct it with consciousness, your entire life starts to shift. If this opened up something in you, Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments if this sparked something in you. We're just getting started here.